Hello and welcome to Last Week in AWS. I'm Corey Quinn. Let's see what AWS has for us this time. AWS Security Hub extends unified security management to Microsoft Azure. Watching AWS offer to secure your Azure workloads is like your ex offering relationship advice. It's technically helpful. Azure is absolutely not going to do it themselves, but I'm deeply suspicious about their motives. EKS Auto Mode reduces GPU management fees by up to 60%, a 60% cut on the management fee for the privilege of running GPUs that already cost more than a starter home. The tax on the tax got cheaper, which matters right up until you see the actual P-Series instance bill and remember why you're crying. Then you, like I, wonder what the point of paying the managed instance tax in the first place is. They also applied this to ECS and a couple other managed instances nonsense, apparently. I don't care. I don't use these things. RDS for Oracle now supports Oracle Database 26 AI. Slapping AI in the version number is Oracle's answer to renaming the same database it's sold since Disco. Enterprise Edition only, naturally, because Larry needs another yacht. Bedrock integration means you can now ask Claude to explain your Oracle licensing bill, then weep together in natural language. AWS Builder Center now offers free sandbox environments. A free AWS environment where you can't rack up surprise charges? This is the one product AWS clearly built by accident. 8 hours a week, auto cleanup, no credit card, no 3 a.m. billing panic. Truly, the only way to use AWS without fearing your bill is when Amazon is paying for it. Security Hub now offers network scanning to identify publicly reachable resources. It turns out the most reliable way to find your exposed S3 buckets was AWS scanning them from the internet, same as every attacker already does. At least it's free, which for AWS security features counts as a minor miracle. Now offering the same view your last breach report gave you. Cognito now supports self-service provisioned API rate limits. Buried in paragraph 4, purchase additional limits and add-on feature. So Cognito's default rate limits are now a self-service upsell you can raise on demand immediately with no support ticket. Convenient. The friction they removed was the part where a human might have asked why you're paying extra to log people in. Security Hub adds impact analysis for exposure findings. Turns out the scariest part of your infrastructure isn't the exposed resource, it's every over-permissioned IAM principal it can reach. Security Hub now draws you the attack path graph, which is a polite way of saying it'll finally visualize how your intern's leftover admin role became an incident. Sobering bedtime reading. Blazing a trail, how Peloton rebuilt the SDLC for the agentic era with Amazon Bedrock. A stationary bike company just described its engineers as sprinting on the problems that demand human judgment, which is quite a metaphor for a firm whose actual bikes go nowhere. The creator brags he handwrote 0 lines of code, and honestly, that tracks with the stock price too. Amusingly, the blog post was taken down prior to publication, but I had already written these jokes, so the link goes to an archive copy that I keep. You can't hide from me. How United Airlines solved IP exhaustion with private NAT gateway. Nothing says modern cloud like an airline running out of IP addresses precisely when a snowstorm strands 40,000 people. United sidestepped a multi-week firewall change bureaucracy by natting their way out because actually adopting IPv6 remains a decision roughly as achievable as an on-time departure. I now understand why airfare is so expensive, yet airline margins are so thin. NAT gateways. Building secure AI agents at scale, introducing Loom for AWS, a platform to weave together Strands, Agent Core, Bedrock, and a management UI, because the building blocks apparently required an entire second platform to become usable. They named it Loom, presumably so your build can be woven into a tapestry no one can read. Opinionated here means you'll pay for our opinions. Designing for the inevitable, system prompt leakage and mitigations in generative AI applications. An AWS security blog admitting a problem can't be fully fixed and selling you Bedrock guardrails to mitigate it anyway. It is refreshingly honest if you squint. The real lesson is to stop stuffing API keys into your system prompt like it's a junk drawer, and it stays out of the leak. The CISO's Guide to Post-Quantum Mandates and Migrations. Nothing motivates a multi-year budget line like a threat that doesn't exist yet. Quantum computers can't break your crypto today, but the compliance deadlines arrive in 2030 regardless, so start panicking on schedule. The actual advice is solid. Fix your patching discipline, but you were going to ignore that anyway. And finally, 2 CVEs and a theme of guarding keys badly. Having a rough week around the concept of secrets you'd prefer strangers not read. Starting with string concatenated table names in 2026 living inside the very gateway that hands out API keys for your AI agents, because the MCP hype train stops for no one and certainly not for input sanitization. So upgrade to 1.0.13 and rotate whatever that thing was quietly exfiltrating. Then we arrive at a function named getUserPrivateKey mishandling symlinks, which is the kind of poetry that makes security researchers weep with joy, since Research and Engineering Studio apparently did some research of its own and discovered that symlink attacks exist, generously documenting the finding as a CVE for the rest of us. Patch it before someone else fetches those keys on your behalf, and take comfort that in a year defined by AI agents everywhere, the industry remains reliably, dependably bad at the single job of not handing out the crown jewels. And that's what happened last week in AWS. I'm Corey Quinn. Stick around.